What's up? Hey, welcome to the Build Show. Did you guys catch any of that Nerd on a Budget build? I was trying to wait for him to finish, but it was taking so long. I was sitting there watching him. Then I saw Robert fix it over there, and I was like, damn, well, now I gotta say something. It's getting late, so let's do this build. Hey, what's up, Tat? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Steve Anderson. This is, I think, the build that you were waiting for. Chat nerds, welcome back to the Build Show. It is the Battle Mage day. Specifically, we got the Sparkle Titan. Not because I wanted that one or was targeting that one. It is simply the one that I was able to get. And it was an open box by Micro Center. Check out that price. Tell me you know how to shop for deals without telling me you know how to shop for deals. Hey, what's up, Steve? Let's go, the B580. That's right, Onra. We got a B580 for $215. It was an open box from Micro Center. Was tested by Micro Center, supposedly. I don't ever believe that they actually test this stuff, but it is in there. So I have no idea if it works or not. We'll find out. It'll be part of the adventure today. So we did finally get one. This was the only way I was able to get one, was because it was an open box. Every other time I go to Micro Center, they're like completely sold out. And I don't want to spend like, you know, $100 over MSRP on Newegg just to get a B580. My profile picture is Grace, Kelly, and James Stewart from the movie Rear Window. I did notice, actually, you changed that, Steve. That is, you just changed it. Nice. B580 cheaper than the B570? Is it really? They do actually on a bench. I don't know. I've had some questionable things come from open boxes from Micro Center, which is like, you guys didn't actually test this, did you? It would have been... And then they also put on their stickers complete for their motherboards. I always have to check their motherboards, especially if it's open box. And it, you know, I don't buy very many open box motherboards, though lately I had to. But I don't buy very many open box motherboards. But when I do, 9 times out of 10, when it says complete, and I don't know if maybe it's just our Micro Center, it says complete, and then it's missing the back I/O shield. It's missing the Wi-Fi antennas. There's no SATA cables. There's no M.2 screws. It's literally just the motherboard in the box. So, I mean, that has happened, I don't know how many times. B570 MSRP is $220. Oh yeah, so I got this particular one for cheaper than a B570S. That is true. My mom taught me well. She showed me how to deal hunt. No, I just got really lucky. I was on Micro Center at like 12:15 a.m. after one of our build streams, and I just happened to notice that went up right around the time Micro Center posts their open box stuff, and I was like, oh shit, finally I can grab one. So I was able to snag the Sparkle B580 for $215 open box, which literally looks brand new. So, and everything is in the box here, including the brackets here if we want to use those, which we'll probably use. But let's go through the build really quick before we get too excited about the card, right? Hey, what's up, Ant-Man? Welcome to the Build Show. Robert Fixit, welcome to the Build Show. Intel GPU. I thought it was a myth. No, I was able to get one. I got one, like I was just saying, from Micro Center, open box for $215. Yeah. It is not a myth. It is real. I have it. So the idea of this build is, okay, the big hype of the B580 is that this is supposed to be a budget-friendly 1440p graphics card, right? Hey, what's up, Bazooka Bulldozers? Welcome back to the build show, sir. So the idea of this build is, okay, well, let's build a budget 1440p gaming PC. So I went with the open box, $215 B580, which is the Sparkle Titan. So we've already saved some money there, actually, just by getting the open box. We have I selected what I just want to keep this in a Intel family to start with, and I might test the card on a AMD platform afterwards. Intel fanboy. Nice. So we're gonna go with what I think is the most budget friendly, like performance to dollar CPU you could get on a budget in the Intel family, which is the Intel i5-12600KF. We don't really need the onboard graphics, so we're gonna go with the 12600KF. I think this one has what, the 10 cores, right? Isn't this one 10 cores? I can't remember, but I believe it's 10 cores and like 20 threads or something like that, or close to it. But it's a great processor for a budget. And I actually don't remember what motherboard I selected, because this was a refurbished motherboard from MSI that I grabbed because we're going budget friendly. And this is an MSI Pro B660M A Wi-Fi DDR4 with Wi-Fi. It's quote unquote refurbished by MSI. So everything's in there. I've already checked. If there is an M.2 screw missing, I have those. That's not that big of a deal. So we've already saved money on the board. We saved money on the graphics card. This is a great processor. Today, I really think we should be building, or even on a budget system, you really want 32 gigs. So I did select 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 CL16. This is just a G.Skill Ripjaws 5. And then storage, especially if you're going to start playing 1440p games, you know, you're going to want higher end titles. You're going to need more storage. 1 terabyte just probably isn't enough. 2 terabytes is pretty much becoming the standard today for your gaming systems. Cool, the CPU, I did select the Peerless Assassin addressable RGB cooler, so I did get one of those. That's one of the most budget friendly, powerful coolers you can get. And then I did select a 650 watt power supply for the build, which is just a RS Game 80 plus bronze. That's probably the weakest point in this entire build, is that power supply. But to add some flair to the blue, I did go ahead and get some blue cable extensions, sleeve cable extensions, to add to the Intel family, I guess, color scheme. You know, Team Blue, yay! We got the blue graphics card. We got the blue cables. I did almost get the what was it? What's that brand name? Silicon Power turbine RAM kit, which was blue. Almost got those. They were out of stock, so I just went with the Ripjaws. The new updated screwed my mobile devices. Oh, what update? Like, was it a OS update? Chat Nerd $700 build question mark? Yeah, I think we're right around that. It's either 700 or 800-ish range for the build. But if you were buying this all brand new, it would probably be like 950, 800, between like 900 and 850, somewhere in there, I think, if it was all brand new. You know, if you got a brand new motherboard with a brand new card. I got these open box, and this one, the motherboard refurbished. So the graphics card was open box and the motherboard was refurbished. So I did save some dollar bills there. But yeah. It's time to do the Intel Battle Mage build. And if we have enough time afterwards, I'll install Windows and we could throw some benchmarks on it, if you guys want to do that. It won't take that long. I guess maybe my Windows 11 install might take a minute. And I don't know if my capture card is ready to take to work. I'd have to look at that, so we might have to stick around with that for a few minutes. Oh yeah, it's a grand for sure. Yeah, around. Yeah, YouTube update. Oh, YouTube updated, and now your mobile devices are screwed up, like the app or the phone. That's kind of weird. I have not come across YouTube screwing up people's phones in a long time. Haven't seen that. Oh, they do include the M.2 screws, by the way, and the studs and everything. So, A+ for the refurb. Everything is there. That is cool. Like Ben forgot how to remove an anti-static bag. Well, there's a B660M plus Wi-Fi. Oh, I forgot to mention what case we're putting this in. We're doing the Okinawa's Cypress 5. So if you guys know what case that is. Oh yeah, here's all this crap kind of showing up over here in the background too. But I don't know if you can see it or not, and I've already zoomed in. But it's got some wood frame to it by Okinawa's. It's a really cool case, really cool looking case. Hard to get too. They seem like they're really sought after. All right. Well, let's go ahead and pop the CPU into the socket and... Good morning, everyone, from Greece. Damn, that case is beautiful. Yeah, take a look at it. Look it up. Good morning, sir. And good evening, actually. Okinawa's is selling like crazy on Amazon, I know. Because their prices are so good and the cases are actually decent for what you get. There we've got an Intel i5-12600KF going in here with the 32 gigs of DDR4 3200. And now we're going to install a 2TB M.2 NVMe, the TN450 by Inland, which I have to butcher the case to open it, the packaging, because I don't have the right tool over here to open this thing. I have these really awesome scissors that cut through this stuff like it's paper, but they're currently trapped inside my camper bay door, and my camper RV bay door opened up while we were driving it, and it smacked the ground and got bent, And while we were traveling, that happened. So in order to finish traveling, I had to bend the door back into place and close it. So if I open it back up, I'm not getting it back closed until I fix it. I really, really don't want to open my bay door just to get that tool out of there. I don't even remember how it ended up in there, but it sucks. I have to fix that. And it's going to cost money to fix it. I'm going to try to do it myself. Go find a bay door somewhere that fits it. With some new hinges. 'Cause man, it gets screwed up. Just gonna go ahead and throw this M.2 stud and screw in down here so that we have that available for future use. Alright, so now we just need to get the cooler installed. I did DDR5 with my 12900 KS. DDR5 CL30 6000. Yeah, that's pretty good. Amazon keeps messing up orders. I think Inland uses ADATA. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they use. But welcome to the build show, Slayer Dork. Hey Tat, over there on the Twitch. Thank you for the emotes. Yes, you should pet the computer every once in a while. The sparkle cards look great with the light gray cables. Oh, you know, I never even thought of that. We could have gone vertical with that card too. Do we go vertical with this card? Isn't... What do they keep messing up on your orders, though? I'm assuming you're waiting for an order. I've noticed Amazon does that every now and then, and 9 times out of 10 it's not even their fault, it's whoever they use to ship the package. That's usually who's at fault. Yeah, so one of the benefits here, guys, is we're not doing a specific build for somebody, so we don't have a build sheet. We can do whatever the hell we want with this build. So that's a benefit. I don't know if I have gray cables, though. I might have, like, black and gray for the 6-pin, or 6/8-pin PCIe. Receiving used items. Oh, like you bought something new and then you received it used? That happens maybe every once in a great while for me, but, you know, usually when it does happen, I just tell them and they'll send me a replacement, I'll send the other one back. But it has happened, unfortunately. And I think it happens a lot. I've seen people mention that a lot. Especially in, like, reviews. You read Amazon reviews on products. It seems to happen a lot. Alright, so for this Thermalright Peerless Assassin, we do have some mounting hardware to work out. We'll get that straightened out here. We're going to use the, I think, 1700 bracket, right? Or is this B660 going to force us to Okay. Yeah, we are definitely going to use the 1700 bracket. I don't know why they have. Oh, this is the 1200. The other size. The one that I've already forgotten about. Don't really remember about LGA 1200 anymore. Kind of just forgot about it. Intel does that to us, though. Yeah, what are they doing? But without Prime every time they do that, it's their X days. That's what they're doing? Okay, gotcha. If you have the mount, I would do vertical. It would look cool in that case. I do have a mount. Now, I was going to do this with a 4080 super build that I have coming up here, one of the inventory builds. 4080 super builds. I don't know if this is going to fit in the case, but this is a Cooler Master Universal that we could use. So if you think it'll... But then again, the idea of this build is to keep it budget friendly, right? So this is going to be like, what, $40 added to the price? I don't know, you tell me what you think. Is it worth it? The B580 is the graphics card Intel makes, B560 motherboards, and it's socket 1700. The B560 motherboards, that's LGA 1200. That's 11th and 10th gen. If that is a V2 mount, it might not fit. That's a V3. That is a V3. I would say without vertical bracket. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, because it kind of takes away from the main, you know, this is supposed to be a budget-friendly build idea, right? Crap, I don't remember what direction these go. I assume they go like this. I gotta check. Oh, my brain can't remember Intel anymore because I haven't done these in forever. Like so. I stand corrected. LGA 1200, yes. The B560 is LGA 1200. Why is it doing that to me? There we go. There, centered up nicely now. It was crooked. I don't know why. When I would tighten that down, it was showing up crooked, and I didn't want it crooked, obviously. Weird. Do vertical GPU mounts make sense when you have a glass side panel? Depends on how far away the glass panel is. Actually, that is a good point. You do want to make sure the glass is far enough away so that the card can still breathe. I would change the Okeanos fans to ones with ARGB. I believe that case come with no ARGB. Oh. We'll find out if it does or doesn't. I don't remember. I do have fans here if we need to, though. Got lots of fans here. There we are. We've got our massive power air cooler for our 12600 KF, which is probably overkill for the CPU, but there's no way that this CPU is going to overheat. Yeah. No, it's a budget build. No CPU mounting bracket. No, we're just doing we're doing a budget build. So we're realistically, if you were out trying to build a 1440p PC on a budget and you wanted to do the Intel ARC B580 Battle Mage build, this is kind of what I would see people targeting for, you know, the price range, which is right around $800-ish, $850, I think, in parts, excluding Windows license. And you know, you'd be building this yourself at that price point. But this is what I see people kind of building. So, with that being said, we're going to build it and then see how it performs and see what we can do with it. I don't have any windows or anything set up on the drive, so we could split this up into two, where I build it tonight and then overnight I'll just install Windows and all that, and then at some point tomorrow we'll we can get back online and stream kind of the performance. It would give me more time to prep for it, because I can get some games installed and stuff, just to kind of see how it runs. If you guys want to do that, we can. Or if you want to try to cram in some benchmarks tonight, we can try that too. So that's up to you guys. Oh, come on. Shouldn't matter, they're cheap. I know, but I'm just trying to... Realistically, this is what somebody probably would build. And it's only a 12600K. So it's not like it's an i9. If it was a build I was doing for a customer, I would 100% put it on there. This is a fun build. Did you get your Battle Mage at MSRP, Ben? No, actually. I got it for under MSRP. It was the only way I was able to get one, was to get an open box over at Micro Center for $215. So I got it less than the B570. You know. Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah, you would do that, chat nerds? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Jesse, if I was building this for a customer, I would definitely use the contact frame. This is just a... Let's see what this Battle Mage is all about. And it's just a 12600K, so KF. It's not really going to get hot. And the thermal rate Fearless Assassin is already overkill. So... We're definitely good in the CPU thermal department. There's been a couple of times on budget builds that I did not use those. Literally, every penny counted. Every penny counted on the budget. So there's been times where I've used no contact frame. Yeah, it's the Sparkle OC edition. Yeah. By Titan, or by Sparkle. It's the Titan OC edition. Sorry, by Sparkle. Great looking card. We got some blue sleeved cables that I threw in there. Because I had to, because the card was blue. I was also trying to get the Silicon Power Turbine RAM, which is blue, but they were all out of stock. I didn't get those. Dang it. And it's pretty much going to be covered up by the cooler anyway. As you can see, it's pretty much covered up. So wouldn't have been able to see much blue there. We'll make up with the blue with the RGB lights, hopefully. Alright, so we're ready to grab that case. Get the case out. Oh yeah, they're not going to stop. This is the Okinawa Cebris 5. This does have addressable RGB fans in it, by the way. So, all good there. I know somebody mentioned earlier that they wanted to maybe see us add some ARGB fans to it, but they are addressable RGB. Yes. It's a really cool looking case though. What you building? So we are building a Intel Battle Mage B580 build. It's a build that I've been talking about for a while that we would do. We're finally doing it. This is not for a customer. This is just a, let's put a B580 build together, like a budget-friendly 1440p system that you would see somebody maybe go out and build. You know, if they're on a budget and they want to do 1440p, this is, can I recommend this? Kind of testing the water, so to speak. So I like to eat my own dog food before I start telling somebody else to eat it. So I hate that metaphor, but it makes sense. So I want to test out the B580 on a 12600 KF, which is kind of like the combo I see people using a lot with these cards, maybe, if you wanted to stay in the Intel family. Are you caught up on builds? Can I order a 5090? Maybe you'll be faster at getting one. I mean, I'll probably be able to snag one from Micro Center if you need me to. Can I be your first? You could be my first 5090 build, if you'd like. But yeah, we could probably get one. It's just a matter of, maybe not the first day, like 4 days after, when the inventory comes back in, because I already know the first day that the 5090s drop, there's going to be a line out the door in Micro Center, and I'm not willing to sit in that line. There's not enough money you could pay me in the world to go sit in the line with negative 20-degree weather out here. Hey, Coral Reef, I just joined. Have never heard that metaphor in my life. What the hell? Oh, maybe I am old. I'm getting old. Hey, King, me, what's up? Welcome to the Build Show. Coral Reef, welcome back to the Build Show. Venomous Toad, welcome back to the Build Show. Jesse, I don't know if I told you, but welcome back. You want to do the 9800 X3D 5090, I think? Yeah, that's a great combo. Best Buy will have them at MSRP if you can get one. Yes, I know. Micro Center will as well. So those are both places that we can try for. If not, same day, there's going to be somebody on Marketplace with a scalped price, I'm sure. Just kidding. Don't recommend spending the extra money on it. But that's always the trouble on the launch is I'm not a big guy that gets a lot of attention from the manufacturers yet, so maybe one day we will be, but not yet. Alright, so we've got this guy, which we want to run here. All of these cables, wow. Does that board even have USB-C? It does. Sometimes I impress myself. So one of the downsides is I did go with a micro ATX board because there really wasn't any good B660 Wi-Fi options within like $100 price point, $120 price point. I think this was like 120 bucks for this refurbished one, refurbished by MSI. And yeah, there just wasn't very many good options out there. Hey William, welcome back to the Build Show. At 20, nope, would not go out in the minus 20. I wouldn't go out for anything either. Yeah, I mean, that's just too cold for me. Go sit in line. Micro Center will have a line wrapped around the store. Oh yeah, 100% will. And everything will be out of stock again because there's so many people in that line that are doing the build. You know, the full build, the full upgrade. So they're going to buy all the 9800X3Ds and they're going to buy all the 5090s. If you need anything before that date, before that release date, go get it before. Other than the 5090, obviously. Alright, so I just got to check to make sure we have our studs from Micro ATX. Just going to be this guy, and this guy that we need to add. So putting in the vertical bracket would hide the fact that this is a Micro ATX board, but I'm not about hiding it. Where's my So what do you guys think? Are people really going to spend $2,500, $3,000 on a card? The answer to that question is yes. There are people that will spend that money to go get that card the day it releases. That seems crazy for most people. Hopefully scalpers get hosed. Yes. The answer is yes, unfortunately. Don't forget this. What's the best content streaming CPU GPU combo from King Me Royalty? I'd say the best, like, budget. Are you asking for like budget or the best, like just the best overall combo? The best overall combo, depending on what content you're streaming. If you're streaming like Call of Duty on gaming and streaming on the same PC, and you want to run 1440p and stream at that resolution, then you're gonna want, you know, like a 4080 Super with a 9800X3D or a 7800X3D and at least 32 gigs of RAM and probably a 2TB M.2 NVMe just for the videos, so you have some storage to edit with. But that's usually what I recommend, and then, you know, build around that with your case, your cooler, and everything else. Sounds simple, but you know, it's usually a $3,000 system or something like that. Now the budget streaming system, a 5700X 3D with a RTX 4060 is all you need to stream, but it's gonna stream at, like, you know, your 1080p. It's not gonna be 1440p. So but 5700X 3D on a B550 with 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM with a 2TB Gen 4 SSD is more than enough to stream with a 4060, you know, and you can even do a Thermalright Peerless Assassin. It'll stay nice and cool. That's a great budget streaming or content creator's PC. Wow, I could afford that, and I reuse out of principle. Screw scalpers. Budget. Yeah, the budget's a 5700X 3D with the RTX 4060 or an RTX 3060, but probably you want DLSS 3.0 with most of today's titles leaning on that AI frame generation. So the 4060 is probably going to be ideal. And then if you can wait for the 5060 to come out, maybe that's better. I am also still impressed, Onra, that it's only going to be a 2-slot thick Founders Edition card. That's great for the sagging issue. Yeah, that's great. I mean, the sagging issue is really resolved as long as you use a GPU support bracket in there, right? So if you use a GPU support bracket, you really don't have a problem. So it's just a matter of knowing to install that. Okay, what are we tied up on here, guys? Aha. I guess it matters if you line up the board the right holes. What about a 7950X and a 7800 XT? It's a little overkill on the CPU. You could do it for less, like on the 7800X 3D. On a 7800 XT, The 7800 XT is not a bad card. It's just it lacks some of the encoder and decoding features that NVIDIA has. Not saying that the 7800 XT can't and doesn't have those features. They have their own, but NVIDIA does it well. And in my opinion, anytime somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to stream, I usually push them towards a NVIDIA graphics card. We have fun. I lag frame gen. Yeah. I love frame generation too. Frame generation is great. Fake frames. Okay, the first time I'm building in this case, there's not very many cutouts here at the top that I really don't like that. There's absolutely zero feeling here for a AIO. If you wanted to put an AIO here in the top, this is definitely not the case to do it in. So I'm glad I went with a Fearless Assassin. Honestly, that was a good call. I don't know how to get my fingers down here. Oh man, this is a tight fit. Cool channel. Happy to sub and give you a little support. Thank you. Keep it up. I appreciate it. Cappy McCappy also subbed. Thank you for the sub over there on YouTube. For some reason, guys, some of my notifications for YouTube don't always come through, especially the subs. So I don't always get to see those. But thank you for the subs. Appreciate it, guys. There we are. Now we just got to get some of our front panel connectors plugged in. Right? And probably should have put our EPS cables in before we put this board in, because it's a really tight fit here. And the back side is... Okay, guys. The back side of this is pretty much the X1 by Montech. It is a very small playing field here. A little bit better than the X1, I'd say. There's a little bit more of a gap here, but it's close to the X1, which is, if you're familiar with it, it's very, very tight in the back. It's a very tight fit. I should have fan options over here. RGB, 2 ARGB. So this Son of a bitch. What? How does it have 1, 2, 3? Okay. Interesting. Hey, what's up, Deether? Yeah, I didn't get a notification. YouTube is slow with them all the time. Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, Chris, welcome to the Build Show. Same with you, Deether. Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Yeah, we're doing the Intel Battle Mage build tonight, the B580. We'll find out what bad boy can do. Finally get to see it in action. Tonight we're just going to build it, and then we might maybe during the next stream at the beginning we'll run some benchmarks and kind of show off, or I'll put a video together, one or the other. But if I have, if I get some time with it, I'll be able to actually install some games and kind of show off in-game performance, you know, some real metrics. If you guys want to see that kind of stuff. Trying to get this thing cleaned up a little bit here. Cables are just everywhere on this board. And in this case, it's just, the cable's just everywhere. Awesome. Booger Shoe 42, this PC you built me is so much better than expected. Knew you were the man. No worries, man. I'm glad it's going above expectations. Can I do a request for a specific game to benchmark? Sure. Yeah. Definitely for you, Onra. Is this yours or a customer? So this is a PC that we're building kind of for fun tonight. All of our customer builds are done except for one, which is Coral Reefs, who's here in the chat. We're almost done. It's on the bench actually wrapping up its benchmarks right now. But I have customer builds. We're just waiting on parts right now for them. So it gave me the opportunity to do the Intel Battle Mage build that everybody wanted me to do. And I was able to secure a B580 from Micro Center, so we could do that build today. Can you enable Secure Boot TPM? Yes. Yes, you can. That's something you can enable in the BIOS, and if your BIOS doesn't support it, then either you have too old of a motherboard, or you have too old of a BIOS version if it's supposed to be supported on your motherboard and CPU combo. So your CPU and your motherboard both have to support it, and you have to have a if you have an old version of BIOS, you might have to update that. But yes, you can enable TPM. Steve Anderson, sorry, had an HDMI 2.01 problem in my Linux Mint 22.1. Ah, well, I hope we got that squared away. Well, we haven't put the Intel ARC B580 in yet, so the Battle Mage card. So you didn't miss that part yet. Almost, though. We're going to do some of the sleeved cables here, which I believe we have 2 PCIe's and 1 PCIe 8 EPS. I'm sorry, EPS 8-pin. Why do you have to turn on my PC is new? Why you have to turn it on my PC is new? What do you mean? I don't understand. Yeah, it would be nice if you could do Concord benchmark, the B580 Kappa. Yeah, I could probably make that work. Well, if your PC is new, then yeah, it should support TPM. You just got it in 2023? Was it a PC you got from me, Chris? It should have been enabled if it came from me. Something like that should have been enabled. Let me know. I'm curious now. Secure boot. Yeah, I get that, but was it a PC you got from me, or is this just another PC that you built, or are you just asking for help on? Yeah, if you need help with that, I can help you remotely. Probably not something I can really walk you through over here on the stream, though. That would be more of a phone call kind of scenario. What a tight fit for my hands. No, I honestly thought this case would be a little bit more roomy than it is. No, you got it on Amazon? Okay. Well, I mean, definitely should have been enabled if it was shipped out in 2023. Yeah, that's the first mistake getting a PC for me. Oh man, that's a burn. But it should have been enabled by whoever built it or whoever sold it. That should have been enabled. So maybe reach out if you're still under warranty. Maybe they have some support on it. But if you do need support, I can help you remotely and walk you through the process of getting your BIOS updated, especially if it's for 2023. There's most likely a BIOS update, so we could get that updated and we can get your TPM enabled. The only concern is that if you don't have secure boot enabled and then you enable it, sometimes, depending on if it was legacy boot or something that was set in BIOS previously by the builder, sometimes that will corrupt Windows and make it so that Windows will not boot. So you need to be prepared to reinstall Windows if you have to. So definitely having your Windows installation media is a good idea to have that ready, just in case that happens. Not saying it will, but I have seen that in the past where those methods get changed and all of a sudden Windows doesn't boot. I think there's fixes for it, but 9 times out of 10 I end up having to reinstall Windows when we come across those. One, it's easy for me to do that here. 2, it ensures that I'm putting a clean install on and that the issue is not going to come back. And 3, most of the time it's not a problem. Because most of the time with gaming PCs, people don't really care because they're just going to re-download their games anyway. And they have the, you know, most of their save games are in Steam Cloud or something. Alright. I think we're ready for the Titan. The moment everyone has been waiting for. So my PC is a Ryzen 5 CPU and a Gigabyte B550. Yeah, the B550 supports TPM 2.0. Or TPM. So, definitely should be enabled. Depending on, I guess, what CPU you have, but I'm assuming it's a Ryzen 5 3600 or 5600 at least. For AMD, from AMD. The crashing problem you've had is an HDMI 2.1 compatibility on Linux. Oh, that's interesting. Venomous Toad. I have to admit, my last computer was from Amazon, but I bought it like 5 years ago. No worries, man. Usually, you know, the pre-builds are like the gateway PC to really getting into PC, so most people do take that route. I've been holding off to see about these new cards. Yeah, I mean, everybody is right now. Everybody's mostly holding off. I've had tons of people come to me for custom builds, and I either talk them out of the build or they're asking questions about the 50 series, and, you know, I talk them into just, you know, waiting. So we're probably going to get pretty busy here after the 5000 series drops. And it sucks because I'm actually going out of town that weekend too. So, not that it sucks, but won't be here for all the hype. It's a 5600. Yeah, that supports TPM. So your hardware supports it. Now it's just a matter of making sure that your BIOS version is new enough to enable it, and or just going into the BIOS and enabling it. All right, here we go. So for the Sparkle Titan B580 OC, Intel ARC B580. It also has this really cool looking stand. So I'll probably use that since it came with the card and it's blue and it looks cool. Just to throw it in there. Really cool looking stand. It's blue. And the card itself. Interesting packaging. Very cardboard-y. Very blue. The powder coated bracket on the back too. It's kind of cool. Might help to actually take the bracket off so that I can put the card in. Is it going to fit? Yes, it's going to fit. Don't think the vertical bracket would fit in this case very well. It's tight though, but it's gonna fit. Nice. That looks pretty good in there. Especially with the blue cables. Kind of adds a little flair. Got some Intel blue glowing in here. Now, I almost did this build in a King 95, but I thought the case was just too big, too pricey for the budget. But they make a blue King 95. Oops. And it would have actually looked pretty good, but kind of over budget. Beautiful design. I hate that Windows, you have to enable secure boot. I just hope in the future Microsoft would fix that. That's actually to protect you. That's why they force secure boot to be enabled. So you want secure boot enabled, honestly. But yeah, it was a change that we all had to go through and deal with all at the same time when they forced it. But your hardware does support it, so you just got to get it enabled. I'm assuming this is for a Windows 11 install, or what are you doing? Just trying to get that enabled for games to work or apps that require it? So Micro Center has these available. No, I actually got lucky and found this one, this open box, while I was there. So, and it was pure luck. They literally just took it back and put it on the shelf from being tested. And I watched the guy put it on the shelf. And I walked over and I said, "Is that for real?" And he's like, "Yeah, they got returned and it's an open box and we put it on the bench, tested it, and we're putting it back out." I was like, I'm going to take that. So it was 100% pure luck that I got it. There was no tactic or anything that I did to end up with this card. Tattooed Tuna over on Twitch, do they have it in gold? That is the question. That is the question for you, sir. Yes. I don't think they have these in gold, but we could definitely spray paint one if you wanted one in gold. I do have some gold spray paint here. I've had that since before I met you, Tat. So there we go. Nice and clean. Got some blue. Oh yeah. That blue shine there. All right, so the last thing we got to do is drop a power supply in here. Which I think this is the weakest part out of the entire build, is the B650 or the 650 watt bronze. But we're on a budget, remember? There's definitely more budget-friendly cases I could have gone with, but I did have a concern about the length of that card. It's a longer card. This one. Movies and Discord, gotcha. Web, YouTube, Win 11, yes, games, whatever. So you're installing Windows 11, and it's telling you it has to be enabled. So you just have to go into the BIOS and enable that, yeah. It's beefier in that case. Yeah, it barely fits in there. Is this for yourself since it's not for a customer? Venom, I haven't decided what we're doing with this build yet. Venomous Toad. Might list it on the website. Coral Reef question. My main monitor is 1080p at 240 hertz, and I can't imagine playing at any refresh rate lower than that. Do you think my new system could handle running games at 1440p and 240 FPS? You have the 4070. I think it's going to run, you know, if you lower the settings, you could probably hit 240, but again, it depends on what games we're running. So Fortnite, definitely, yes. Call of Duty, 1440p is probably going to be more like 160. With frame gen on, maybe you can hit 200-ish. So it's going to be, you know, dependent on the game, the title, and the settings you set for the graphical settings. But yeah, in most games you should be able to hit 240 with frame generation, which is DLSS 3.0. So it's really not the resolution now, the native, it's more so does the title support DLSS and the settings kind of around that. So that's more so what you're going to be working with. But yeah, I haven't decided what we're doing with this PC yet. If it performs good enough, maybe we'll list it on the website, right? Or we could do some other stuff with it. I have the same case you got, and it's a white one. Oh, nice. So you got the Okinawas? I have not tried Helldivers. Honestly, I've not played it. I've seen it. My brother plays a lot of it, and he's tried to talk me into getting into it. I just haven't had the time to really get into it. So, haven't gotten into it yet. But everybody says it's a great game, so heard a lot of good reviews. I've seen a lot of people play it. It looks good. Okay, you gotta get this cleaned up now. Nice. What? I play at lowest settings regardless, so I don't know if I will upgrade to 1440p, but was still curious. No, you should be able to run 1440p definitely. For me, when I'm gaming, set my graphics low, some high. My DisplayPort is connected to the RTX card. I'm getting 200 FPS on Black Ops 6 and Helldivers 2. Overall, great setup. It's fun. Yeah, I think Coral Reef, you should have no problem running 1440p at 240. I think it's just specific titles, like, for example, the Call of Duty may struggle, but it's because it's Call of Duty. It's a very inefficient game when it comes to how it utilizes the hardware. So that's the only thing I'm saying. games like Fortnite that, you know, that are built really nice and the developers spent a lot of time making it efficient and effective with the hardware, those games run really nice. So you will have a wonderful experience with those games. You should use this PC as a backup? Nah, I've got backup options here already, so I really personally don't need it. What would be cool is if we test, you know, how well does it stream kind of scenario. Can this be a content creator's PC? That type of question. Those questions need to be answered. The experience needs to be had so that I can say or tell somebody, I recommend this, or I don't recommend this for this scenario. God dang, these things must be getting old. They're getting to my zip ties apparently, or something's getting to them. That's the third one in a row. We're just gonna throw the whole frickin' package away apparently. Now I've got a bunch of plastic bits to get out of there. So here's the struggle with this particular case. It's this back panel depth. That is so tight back here. So, see if we can get this back panel back on. Didn't really doubt it, it's just, it's tight. Ah, shit. I'm gonna have to pull that back out and fix that. Much better. Intel Blue RGB on Intel builds, AMD Red on AMD builds, and NVIDIA Green when you have the hot rod graphics card. Yeah. Kind of what I envisioned. I thought RTX card is not going to fit, yeah. In Counter-Strike 2, you're going to get like 400 FPS. Oh yeah, in Counter-Strike. In Counter-Strike 2, for sure. Yeah, I'm big on Marvel Rivals right now, but it is incredibly unoptimized, yeah. Got to turn on resizable bar for the ARC cards, I believe. Yes. I will make sure that gets turned on. Good call. Chris, crazy to think the 4070 is $200 and that's why Trump is in office. Everything costs less. I don't think that's why it's going to cost $200. I think a 4070 is going to take some time before it becomes $200. Yeah, 4070 is closer to $600 right now. It's like $550. If you're doing the math because of the 5000 series being released, I don't think that's going to be realistic for many years. I mean, just recently the 1080 is hitting like $100, and that was from 10 years ago. many years ago. Almost 10 years now, right? Isn't it close to 10 years now for the 1080? It's pretty close to it. Been out for a long time. But that was, you know, the card to get back in the day. That was like $600, $700. Actually, probably more like 1,000 or 800. $2016. Yeah, we're coming up on 10 years, guys, for the 1080. So much Team Blue. I love it. Robert, fix it. I thought you would love this one. Almost went with a blue case, but they would bring us a little over budget here. For the idea, you know, Intel 1440p budget build. We kind of go over budget if we went with a blue case, which the blue case that I was thinking was like the King 95. It was the right color of blue. The other option would have been the Montech Sky 2, but the shade of blue is just a little off. Not the right shade of blue, so it would look kind of weird. Yeah, we want. All right, let's get this thing fired up, shall we? Let's see if our open box Intel ARC B580 is a boom or a bust. Shall we do it? Good evening, Army Vet. Welcome back to the build show, sir. Wonder if it's possible to do 2070, 2080 at the same time? Yes, you could run both of those cards on the same system. It's just they're not going to run as a team like you think they are. You could assign one to maybe physics and the other to rendering, but for the most part, it's not going to run as a team like it would be from the olden days, which is the NVIDIA SLI. So does TI stand for titanium or titan? I don't know for sure. I'd have to actually look that one up. That scared the shit out of me. LOL, my volume was high. Oh. Did my volume go up? Or did the transition scare you? I didn't know there was noise on the transition. Is there still noise on that transition, guys? If there is, I'm sorry. I'll fix that. Ready! Okay, so who here wants to be the one to tell me to push this power button? Tell me to move that bus or push that power button. Let's do some gaming. Yes, Jesse says, let's go. Let's get Windows. Yeah, I thought my computer shit itself. I'm sorry. There isn't supposed to be a loud noise with that transition. Push that. Okay, here we go. We're pushing it. All right. Collectively, everybody's telling me to push that button. Well, that's not a good sign. Well, we did cable management a little bit too tight. Hold on, guys. I pulled the power cable. Uno momento. Okay. Round two. Now we're actually ready to push that power button. I hate it when that happens. Yeah. Gets me every time. See if we can get a solid blue color. Can't adjust the RGB on that fan. Yeah, this thing looks pretty dope. Spanish is my thing, gorgeous, premature, a pusha, Latino, Lation, yeah, a little premature on my end, sorry guys. Looks good, and we have ignition. We do have a post as well, so that's a good sign. Nice, 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 nice. Well, we can, throw Windows on here and see what we get. Oh, shoot. Yes, we got a post. We did. I'm trying to get Windows installed here, but okay, explain to the noob, when you say post, what exactly does that mean? It enters BIOS. So post is a acronym that means power on self-test. That means it has completed its power on self-test and that it is capable of entering the BIOS and booting. Yes. So the three main things that it has to test, the motherboard, is testing the CPU, the memory, and then a display, VGA. So on a motherboard, you'll see three different lights, or debugger lights is what we call them. Generally, most motherboards have those now. In the olden days, it used to be beep codes that we'd listen for, but those beep codes would be our debugger codes that we'd use to understand what is keeping the PC from posting if it does not post. So that is basic troubleshooting for is it working? It's kind of like the dashboard on your car. It goes through a check every time you turn your car on. It checks everything to make sure everything's good to go, and then it'll show you kind of trouble lights if it's not able to run or something. So very similar. But the debugger lights on most boards today have your CPU, DRAM, and VGA. And those are the three main components you need for a post or to boot. And in this case, we have the 12600KF, the 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 RAM, which is the G-Skill Ripjaws, and then the Intel ARC for the VGA. And all of those passed, so we got a post. So that means we're in a functional state, and we can get to the BIOS, and we can plug in a Windows install USB installation media, which is what I just did. And now I'm here on the Windows install screen. I don't know if my capture card's plugged in here, guys. So let me check that real quick to see if we can get to some screen. According to this, it is plugged in, so you can see if it picks it up or not. Please hold capture card. Let's see if it picks anything up. Does not. Quite actually, because I need to plug it in from the capture card. Not sure what that is. Try to figure this out. Hey, there we go. We've got a capture card working. I know I could, but I have a capture card. Why would I do that when I have a capture card? It looks a lot better with the capture card. I just have to screw around with this stupid capture card every time I try to use it. Solitaire, here we come. Well, Windows is installed. We're just firing it up for the first time now. I'm just gonna bypass this Windows stuff and just do a local account. I honestly don't know what type of performance impact this capture card is going to have. I don't think it'll have anything to do with like FPS. I don't have the long hair, so can't really help you with that. Hey, this might take a few moments. You guys want to find out what happens when we shut it off? When it tells us not to shut it off? So tempting. You guys can see the screen, right? Watching paint dry is my most favorite time of the year. Hey, here we go. Yes, we're waiting for the clouds to part. Someone could change the text to this to take a few days. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it can take a few days. All right. So, what do we want to install first? We got motherboard drivers. We've got chipset, etc. We've got Intel ARC. I've never done an Intel ARC driver installation before, believe it or not. Not even for the A70s, I just didn't even bother. So let's start with the MSI B660M. This was a B660M EEC. That's the board. do, 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 do. Ooh, it's Arc and Iris. Does MSI not have an app where it'll find and download all the drivers for you? It does. It's called the MSI Center. It is just super buggy. So if I sit there and wait for it, you guys are all gonna fall asleep before it's done. Because it's buggy AF. So I'm just gonna download it. It's faster for me to just download and install these. Instead of going through the MSI Center, believe it or not. Still waiting on some downloads. Oh, network issue. That's interesting. So you becoming a teacher today, showing us how to update drivers and install Windows. That is nice of you. Yeah, just a quick overview. We're just installing drivers and stuff. So what I like to do is create a support folder on the C drive to work with and just extract everything and run it. Crap. This is the BIOS. I'll just kind of extract all these. I probably could just select all of them and extract. I just want to make sure it's not going to extract a bunch of junk all in the root folder. But that PCIe Gen 4 SSD is really showing its power here. It's just eating through these like it's nothing. Oh, here we go. Windows is trying to install drivers for us. Probably gonna break the capture card. Oh, and then we can get some benchmarks. I don't know what benchmarks we want to run. Let's just do this one here. There's just some that I have downloaded on my flash drive. And then we'll do the B660M-ACEC Wi-Fi DDR4 for the BIOS. I think I want to update the BIOS just to make sure that's all squared away as well. I need to learn how to run benchmarks. This is great. I am probably gonna have to switch the screens while I log into my Steam. That's where I have some better benchmarks. But we could just run some basic ones, I guess, or whatever you guys want to run. Alright, so let's go in here and just start installing these. Probably should do that after the BIOS update, honestly, but I think it'll be fine. Let's find out what happens. What I really want to do is install like a game and run that, just to see how it does in 1440p. The other problem is we don't have a 1440p panel right now. We have 1080p. I do have a 1440p panel that I'm using for the chat that I'd have to swap over to, or grab another 1440p panel that I have. Not that we need the Bluetooth driver, but may as well just install all the drivers. Come on, you. There we go. Hate how sometimes the user account control takes so long to pop up when you're trying to run an exe. Sometimes it takes way too long. I know these Intel ARC drivers take a long time to install. They're just massive. So right now it's extracting. Yeah, I'm doing other stuff in the background, but I remember this from the past as well. Like, it's in the gigabyte size. It's massive. And then we'll do a BIOS update and make sure we set our XMP in the BIOS for the RAM. Is there anything in here that you think I need to customize? Graphics driver, graphics software, driver support assistant, computing improvement program, CIP, the graphics command center. Why do they have graphics software and then the graphics command center? It seems redundant. I'll just install all of it and figure out what happens. Seems kind of suspicious that they have all that extra crap. Just give me the driver. Oh, and then we have the infinity loading bar, where it doesn't actually give you a status, it just kind of just goes back and forth. Yeah. So it's the infinity status bar. At least it gives us a nice spinny, glowy halo-like thing in the background. that has some RGB on it. You can't have a computer without bloatware. I know. So if you ever wondered what Halo would look like in RGB, that's what it would look like there. Just kind of spinning in the background there. Obviously, that increased the FPS in Halo. The RGB, that is. Launch the software. I'm not going to launch the software. I'm going to finish. We're going to reboot and do the BIOS update really quick, and then we'll come back to that. We didn't do any Windows updates either, and I know there's a couple. Crap. Told you. Windows already trying to sneak their updates in. You think they have overclocking and stuff like that where you can check if resizable bar? Yeah, I'm going to do the BIOS update, and then we'll check for resizable bar and XMP and stuff like that. You'd be a millionaire if you invented something that would just uninstall and block. There's programs out there that do that, actually. Oh, there we go. All right, M-Flash. So for a MSI BIOS update, you just tap delete to get into the BIOS while you're starting up the PC when you first turn it on. And we're going to select the M-Flash, which is right there. And then click yes. Had to duck out of the way so I could click M-Flash. And then it's going to bring us into the M-Flash tool. I don't know if my capture card is going to be able to see this because it's going to be on a very low resolution. But it looks like it's going to pick it up, so I can show you the rest of it. All right. Waiting for my screen to actually show up. There we go. So we're going to select the USB flash, or the USB flash memory, because that's where I put the BIOS file, is on my flash drive. And I put it under my MSI folder and under my B660 MACEC Wi-Fi. I called it DDR4, so I must have done one of these boards before at some point. Where's there it is. It's at the top of the list here. And then we'll select it. So we're going from 6/29/2022 to 10/4/2024. That's a significant jump in BIOS versions there. So I'm glad we're doing it. SteamOS needs to come on desktops. Yeah, I mean, that would help. I actually used to have on my website an option to select, you know, if you want Battle.net, Epic Games, or Steam, or Discord pre-installed on the PC. I used to give that option, but there was too many times where people would just, it was too much customization to the point where I'd forget some of it, or I'd miss something, and somebody would bring it up, oh, I thought you were supposed to install this and that for us, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to do that. Or, you know, so I just got rid of the feature, that option, because I'd miss it too many times, and I'd rather not miss something. So I just, you know, I'm not ready for those extra steps, apparently, so I just removed it. But if somebody asks me to do that, I will make the conscious effort to do that. Now we just wait for the loading of the BIOS install. Nah, man, Steam is, Steam OS completely replacing Windows, yeah. Gotcha. Steam OS, got it. Steve Anderson says, I use Epic Games and Good Old Games. Steam, Epic Games, and Good Old Games. Yeah, those are all three, probably, I use those too. I have Steam, I have Epic Games, I have Battle.net. Because Call of Duty used to run better on Battle.net for some reason. I don't know why. Don't know. And then I do use Good Old Games as well, GOG. I like good old games because it gives you access to a whole bunch of games that actually Steam doesn't even have anymore. Or never even had. Almost there, guys. And then we got to remember where resizable bar is in the MSI BIOS. I think in the newer BIOS versions it's already enabled, but we'll double check that. Alright. Booting up after the BIOS update. I'm tapping the delete key on the keyboard to try to get us back in. Yeah, I've seen them talk about it. Not enough in my head to even think about it. What is resizable bar for? Hold on one second. I gotta say goodnight to a little miss here. Good night. Oh. Okay. Well, I love you. Alright. I don't even remember where a resizable bar is in here. First of all, let's probably go to advanced. Probably under just settings. Above resize bar support is enabled. So if the system supports 64-bit PCIe decoding, enabled resize bar for deploying system memory for compatible PCIe devices. The resizable bar is enabled here. Is there anything else you guys think I have to check? We have above 4G, or everything here looks right. I'm not the perfect person to describe resizable bar. I kind of know what it does, but I don't have a detailed explanation to explain it, unless somebody else here does. Yeah, we gotta... To enable XMP, all we're gonna do is just click this button here. So that it's the one-click XMP profile we're gonna enable. So we've got that. And then the other thing I want to do is actually go into hardware monitor and make sure our fans are all set right. So I know we had... I'm gonna change that to smart. It's not PWM, it's DC. Okay. And it's not a pump either. I know I plugged it into a pump header, but it's pretty close. Kind of wanted to match that. Wish there was a way to just copy it from here and apply it to the other one. It's bringing it up. All right. Why is that one so much slower than the other one? Yeah, I'll play around with that later. Okay, yeah, screw around with that. Looks good to me. XMP enabled? Yes, I just enabled that. Indian long nuts. It's for the GPU and it's a good thing. Yes. Resizable bar, base address register is a PCI compatibility that allows a CPU access a GPU's entire frame buffer. This can improve system performance, especially for gaming. Thanks, Google. Thank you, Google. Back to you, Steve. Basically, it enables the GPU to talk directly to the CPU better in certain instances, not necessary on AMD and NVIDIA cards, though. Resizable bar is when you add a second fridge to the garage to hold extra beer. I think that's the best example so far, Robert. Fix it. Thank you. Right on. Lovely MSI center. Don't really need this unless we want to see all the fans blue for the RGB. Love how the audio drivers pop back up. We already installed those. I'm not going to bother with that. Oh, thanks, MSI Center. A little bit too late. We already installed all the drivers. This is what I'm talking about with MSI Center. It does some really buggy, stupid crap, and it's probably not going to do it because I'm streaming it right now. It's actually going to work. But when you first try to launch it, this is the kind of crap it does. It'll just sit here and never finish. So what do we want to do? Did I ever install HW on it? I don't think I did. Curious to see if HW monitor even picks up the card. And CPU-Z. I'm sure it will. Just curious. B580. It's giving us all the info. Most of it here. Temps are reading. B580. Nice. Pretty cool. Here's MSI Center still doing stupid MSI things. I'm just gonna close that out. All right, guys, what benchmarks do you want me to run? Yeah, normally I would too, but we're just gonna run a base install here. We'll work with that. Let me know what benchmarks you guys want to see on the B580. We'll go install it. Unless it's something I have to pay for. If it's something I have to pay for, I won't do that right now. There's MSI Center trying to force Norton down our throats. Let MSI Afterburner load. Well, I don't have MSI Afterburner installed. Call of Duty, it would take half the night to download Call of Duty. Firmark? I think we could do that. Which Firmark are you guys talking about, Steve? I'm sorry, no, don't load it. What? You can't actually use MSI burner, Afterburner? I figured you probably could still, right? I have no idea if you can or not. This is my first time running an Intel ARC card. This is actually the first time I've seen MSI Center launch without bugs. Yeah, isn't there different versions of Firmark though? What version are we going to install? Whatever Jay's 2 cents uses, I'm actually not sure what he uses anymore. Does he use that that Time Spy bot? I think that's what he uses. I'd have to install Steam to get that one. Yeah, Time Spy. I'd have to install Steam and download it. I could do that. Let me grab my chair real quick. Now that I'm a little bit more comfortable sitting, I don't know why I'm in this stupid cooling center wizard. Oh, there's the Mystic Light. Okay, well, let's get Steam installed. We'll run Firmark real quick, and then we'll, I don't think Firmark does much, does it? And I don't have a 1440p panel right now, so that sucks. We're warming up. Yeah, they're really picky about it. Yeah, the 3D Mark Time Spy benchmark, it's mostly negative on Steam. Yeah, but literally everybody used, like, that's been like the go-to benchmark that everybody tells you, or, you know, uses on YouTube and stuff, so everybody uses it. I get why that just drops. So, unfortunately, that's what everybody uses. Hairy Donut. Yeah, that is what we're looking at right now, is a Hairy Donut. We scored 7,736 points at 128 FPS with the Intel ARC B580 and 1080p. Full screen with MSAA off. Duration is 60,000 milliseconds. Max temperature was 65°C. I do have the glass panel off right now, just for the record. I don't think we need to submit that or anything. Okay. Well, let's go get Steam, shall we? Welcome to the Steam, and I have to remember even how to sign into this. Sorry, guys. We're not going to look at my login. Need my phone. Okay. I'm getting this installed here. 1 second. Almost there, guys. And then I've got to sign back. I've got to sign into the app. And then I will reshare the screen here. Okay. You guys are going to see my crazy library. You don't want to see the hairy donut in 4K? I don't think anybody would want to see that in 4K, no. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm giving it to how it is. La 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 la, I'm French now. Oh la la, I'm French now. Yeah, that's a major, major update. Direct storage, 3D Mark now in French. If that interests your interests. No internet connection, though we are definitely connected. Plus, we're having some internet connectivity issues. My wife did send me a picture, Mrs. Empower, did send a picture of some guys by our pole right outside of the house, so that's interesting. I'm just gonna check to see if we're dropping packets. I'm just doing a basic ping to Google. Seems to be working. So, and it did download. Delta farce. Does not look like we're dropping any packets. Just waiting on 3D Mark to launch here. Is there like a specific one that I was supposed to download? I don't remember. Got the VR Mark as well. Ever use that one though? Come on. I'm going to run HW monitor while we run these, just so we can have a couple of, you know, options here to see what our max temps were. Should I put the glass panel on too? I should probably put the glass panel on. All right, which one do we want to do? We got Speedway, we got Steel Nomad. Where's Time Spy? We could do Time Spy Extreme, or just regular Time Spy. Oh, this thing looks so clean with the glass on, too. Time Spy Extreme or regular. I'm just gonna run the regular one. Probably a lot quicker of an install. All right, so we've got nothing else running, right? Let's kill this MSI center. Don't really need that running in the background. And let's run this bad boy. Collecting system information. Steve says it's impressive that it never got above 63 Celsius. Yeah, I mean, it's a massive cooler for the card. Is there a way to get the metrics up on the screen so we can watch? I don't remember the hotkeys. Do you know the hotkeys? Yes, I agree. I got in late. What card is it? This is the Intel ARC B580 Battle Mage. It's the Sparkle Titan OC edition that we're putting to the test. We got Windows installed. We built it. We installed Windows. We installed the drivers. And now we're benchmarking it. Seems pretty smooth. It's in 1080p though. I would want to try to rerun this in 1440p. I just don't have a 1440p panel here at the bench. I do, but it's currently what I'm using for the chat. So we'd have to trade. It's 1080p right now. We could try the extreme version next if you guys want, since we're in 1080p. I think she needs to jump through the mirror. Time Spy Graphics Test 1 loading. Not doing too bad. We're floating around 100 FPS, or 90, I guess, is the average probably right now. 90 to, yeah, around 90. You definitely feel the heat coming out of the back of it now with the glass on. If this had AI generated frames, we'd be hitting 500 plus. Yeah, maybe. Time Spy Graphics Test number 2. Oh. Boy, I'm gonna get comfortable. This thing's gonna take a while. Some lower frames here. Looks like there's some screen tearing. I don't know if the capture card is picking that up or not, or if it's my screen. Because this is like a 75 hertz 1080p Acer. Nothing spectacular on the bench. I do have the 1440p panel above when I really need to test something. But I'm usually doing that, you know, when I'm not streaming, and when I'm streaming, I'm using it for the chat. Fake frames. If a girl walks in with fake, you ask her to leave or stay. That is such a good metaphor for the fake frames debate. The screen tearing is crazy. I don't know if it's the capture card causing that or not. It could be, because the capture card is between the monitor and the computer. So the capture card could be causing the screen tearing. I'd have to rerun it without the capture card to verify that. It's a cheap. Remember that part where I said I like to, you know, eat my dog food before I tell other people to eat the dog food? Well, I'm testing some cheap capture cards. This one does okay. I think it's like a $30 capture card, and it's done pretty good, minus some of the screen tearing you saw. I think that was because of this capture card that we have. Dang. We got a pretty good score. I'm gonna save that for now. So it comes in just underneath a Ryzen 7 7700X and 4070. 2,000 points below it. Above your budget gaming PC from 2023, which has a 7600. So we beat that. That's better than a laptop RTX 4070. We beat that. Okay, wasn't sure if it was watching from the capture card or not. Well, that's how it captures. Is this is a separate PC that's being captured on the capture card, which delivers it to my stream PC, which then delivers it here to Streamlabs to you guys on YouTube. So that little capture card is trying to capture all those frames, and it's a budget card, budget capture card. There's nothing super spectacular about it. It's like a 4K 60 FPS or 60 hertz capture card. It's El Cheapo, not El Gato. So, I mean, we get what we pay for. All frames are fake frames. They are generated pixels, and NVIDIA creates new pixel. To me, that tech is amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool what they do with it. Honestly, the cheap capture card are pretty decent. I also have a $40 one that I mostly use to play PS5 Switch audio through my PC. Nice. What score would a 9800 X3D and a 5090 get? Probably well past this, which is your 7950 X3D 4090. So probably above 31,000. But that has not been tested yet. But that's where we ranked here with TimeSpy in 1080p. 1440p would probably be a little bit less. But I'd have to switch panels, and I'm not going to do that here live on stream. It's just too much work. I'll rerun the benchmark, and I can give you guys an update on that when I do it. Oh. Do you guys want to try the Extreme? Let's run the Extreme. It would tear space. Yeah, it would probably create a black hole somewhere. You know, a black hole, it would tear space, so then you could jump into it and time travel. But those are physics that we don't quite understand yet. Physics out there are a little bit different than the physics that we understand here. The laws, anyway, that we have. Which is kind of, you know, weird, because men wrote the law of current physics that we understand now. So, or humans have. If there are any other physics out there, we haven't even figured that out yet. Because we only know what we know. As long as it's a hairy donut, we don't mind. Well, this is not a hairy donut. A fake black hole, yeah. So I don't know what the major difference, I think the major difference between extreme and non is it's rendering all of this at a 4K resolution. You don't need a 4K monitor to run this. It is still going to run it, the textures and everything at 4K. It's just the resolution being displayed on the screen is not 4K. At least that's my understanding of the extreme version. It's interesting because there's no screen tearing here in these scenes. At least I'm not seeing it. Can you? Well, I don't know if that's my PC, the capture card, or I don't know what it would be. I'm assuming it's probably the capture card that's causing it. Are there any other benchmarks you guys want me to run? We're hitting midnight here. We went pretty late doing this. We started around, what, 9:15? What stats should I care about on a monitor? I want to get an OLED. Yeah, the OLED's good. 240 hertz, 3840 by 2160, which is 4K. That's a widescreen, isn't it? You're gonna want to make sure the hertz is a big deal, so 240 is good. And then the response time, that's the other thing that you want to make sure is at least 1 millisecond response time or better. Ideally. But those are the three major stats that you want to make sure. And then, you know, G-Sync if you want to use G-Sync with an NVIDIA card. 32-inch. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just double check the response time on that. 0.03. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Maybe G-Sync versus FreeSync. Yeah, exactly. FreeSync, I think it's compatible still with G-Sync, isn't it? Heaven benchmark, I could run that. I think I have that one on the flash drive. The Haven benchmark. I always call it Heaven. Oh, bad. That clock is starting to catch up with me. Yeah, so far it's doing a pretty good job in 1080p. I'm really curious to see what it'll do in 1440p. Even on the extreme 4K render that it's doing right now. The the Time Spy Extreme is running actually pretty decent. It's pretty close to the same results. And the air coming out of that system is not super hot, which is pretty impressive. We'll pull up HW monitor and see what... Oh, here we go. Here's some slow frame times. $50 milliseconds for the frame time here. Pretty slow. So it struggled on this. We're up to 60 milliseconds for the frame time. Woof. Almost a full second. Yeah, I know, but it's you could just tell it's struggling here. The sim time is... I don't think I've seen it that high in a while. Maybe on like an RX 580. Hey, we have a great score. Estimated gaming performance is 135 FPS in Battlefield. I wonder what the 140 plus in Apex Legends with 1440p Ultra. GTA 5 95 plus. Red Dead 2 55 plus. Fortnite. This should be a little higher, probably like 140 plus. Calculating. Why is it still like... This is weird. The test said it was a CPU test, and F CPUs don't have graphics. Yes, I know. I don't know why. But it lists the GPU as an Intel ARC. Oh, were you talking about the that last section? Yeah. Oh, gotcha. The last section of that benchmark. Maybe that's just to gather kind of frame time for their CPU. Okay, that makes sense. I don't use this Time Spy 3D Mark very often. We're gonna save that one as well. Oh shit, I just replaced it. Oh well. Compare the results online. And we came in pretty much at the same spot. Just under the 7700X RTX 4070 combination. And better than a mobile RTX 4070 laptop. It's not bad, guys. Well, I mean, yeah. Sorry, no data available. Okay. Interesting. Wonder what the temps were. So the maximum temperatures according to HW monitor was 62 Celsius during those benchmarks. That is pretty impressive. Our CPU only hit 66 throughout those benchmarks on the P cores. Package is reporting 66C. So that's pretty good. CPU only drew 102 watts in the package. Oh, the LP1 or the PL1 was 240, 241. $153 watts on the GPU was the maximum it pulled. I don't know how accurate that is with HW monitor. That's all pretty good, guys. I mean, for a $215 graphics card open box, quote unquote, for me, $250 graphics card. These are pretty good results. Really, the only other thing I could do is put it on a 1440p panel and then actually run games to see what it's like. But I'm not going to do that tonight. It's too much to really do here on stream. Oh yeah. Look pretty good. Just Windows installed and running in FurBark. We're at almost 8 gigs of RAM here. 7 gigs. Pretty crazy how many gigs Windows uses nowadays. This is a KF CPU. So the Intel i5-12600KF. 10 core 16. Pretty good. Pretty good. You could probably definitely stream with this setup because this is a 10 core, the 12600K F is the 10 core. You could get some streaming performance out of this if you needed to with Streamlabs. So not bad. I'm pretty impressed with the results. I didn't touch anything in the drivers. That was all just defaults. I mean, I guess that's something we can go look at is what does the software look like? This is the Intel graphics software. The resizable bar has a check mark, so it actually tells you if that's enabled or not. So I'm sure that would probably pop up and tell you if it's not. So that's pretty cool that it, you know, since it performs better with resizable bar, that it actually identifies here in the GUI that it's enabled. That's pretty cool. Showing that the driver is up to date. Simple. Little check for update button right here. Nice and easy. Update options, another update option. Oh, these are options, notifications, installation mode express. The WHQL certified drivers, currently that's off. We can make profiles. That's pretty cool if you want to make like an overclock profile, maybe, I'm assuming. Frame synchronization. That's the method used for vertically syncing. Oh, okay, so this is just your typical sync. VSync. FPS limiter limits the rate at which frames are displayed. So, does that work with all applications though? Or is that just like for the desktop? Right now it's off. Low latency mode improves the responsiveness between user input and graphics rendering for better gaming experience. That would be interesting to test out. I'm assuming that's similar to the NVIDIA reflex stuff. That CPU is optimized. Yeah, it's a good CPU. Adaptive tessellation enables an adaptive algorithm for mesh generation that lowers the cost of rendering while maintaining visual quality. That almost sounds like DLSS in a way. Here's our scaling. Yeah, all basic stuff, you know, you would expect in the graphic software. And then we have performance metrics here, which is pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of the MSI Afterburner. Tuning option too. Well, we could play around with that. With a reset button, thank goodness. That's the only downside to not having a K processor and not having the onboard video is if we break something while tuning this and we need a onboard video to get back in and disable something and the card goes out. That would suck. Are there any other just the graphics and software, the Intel graphics software, that's it. All basic stuff. Yeah, I mean, so far I'm pretty impressed with the B580 and its performance overall. The build looks pretty cool with the blue. And it performs. The only thing we got to do is throw a 1440p panel on it and run some games on it, see what it actually does outside of the benchmarks. What do you guys think? You like it? I mean, the installation was pretty easy. I'm talking installation for like the software side. The software was a breeze. There was no issues, no questions, no errors. Fresh install of Windows, as if, you know, you're building your first PC and you run this card. No problems. Time Spy runs like a champ. And the furry donut looked pretty cool too. I'm pretty impressed. Yeah. Not every day we get to test a B580 from Intel. Sorry, loud noises. Yeah, it's pretty impressive so far. I think it's pretty cool. This would make a nice 1440p gaming PC without breaking the bank. Yeah, I mean, you could probably do this. There's some things that you probably could have done a little bit differently on the build that I did. If you really wanted to do it on the cheap, like I spent a little bit more on the case just because I personally wanted to build in this case to see what it was like. And I don't like my review on this case, the Cyberus 5 by Okinawas. Is the ceiling is too short, so you really can't fit any radiators in there, and the back is too shallow. You really are going to struggle with cable management in the back. So if you're new to building PCs, it's not going to be a great building experience with this thing. It looks cool when it's done, but it will take a little bit of experience to deal with some of those issues. So and the fact that you can't put a radiator at the top in a case in 2024, it says you can, but if you have a bigger board in there with a bunch of heat sinks on it or heat spreaders at the top, you're not going to fit an AIO in there, not very well. It's going to be too tight. I'm glad Intel is having success. Yeah, no, it's great to have. What this is going to be good for is really lowering the prices of, or pushing competition on NVIDIA around the budget side of things. So like your RTX 4060 or 5060, we should either see more performance out of them if they want to maintain their price point, or they're going to have to lower their price because there's more options in the market now that are working, obviously pretty good. And so it's going to help with pricing, the competitiveness. The downside is we don't really have any super major competitors around the 5090 area. So NVIDIA is just going to get away with whatever they want to charge for those cards. But the budget side of things, you know, AMD focusing on the budget, Intel focusing on the budget cards, I think that's great for them to start there and kind of focus there and kind of maintain that market. It's great because it puts some competitiveness in that area of the market, which is, you know, an important piece of the market because that's where most people start. So that's where probably the majority of the sales are in that area. Yeah, I don't know if EVGA will ever return back. I honestly looked at EVGA and, you know, it took them a long time to develop even a PCIe 5.0 power supply. I honestly thought they didn't develop a PCIe 5.0 power supply because they were basically getting ready to close the doors completely. But then they eventually came out with one, which took forever from EVGA. But they finally did it. Just really, really, really slow to the markets. Yeah, I know. Kingpin is kind of talking, but I mean, the thing is with Kingpin, you know, he's going for like max performance, max quality, max you know, the max performance is the 4090 or the 5090. AMD doesn't make a card that good, and Intel doesn't make a card that at that level. So if you want maximum performance, you're gonna have to go with an NVIDIA card. I think that's where Kingpin is kind of stuck. You know, and then trying to decide who to work with. I think PNY would be a great match for him, but I would love to see him work with PNY. That would be kind of pretty cool. So anyway, guys, that's it for the night. Hope you guys enjoyed the Battle Mage experience tonight. We are going to take a break from streaming tomorrow, and we will be streaming again hopefully on Friday, as long as all the parts show up for the build. If not, then we will be building and streaming for sure on Saturday, because that's when I have another build here ready to go. So if I don't see you guys on Friday, I'll definitely see you on Saturday. So we'll be building again hopefully on Friday and then Saturday as well. Can't blame Kingpin. He's going to put its name on it. I know. Yeah, he wants to do it. He's going to do it right. What's up, some giant idiot? Thanks for hanging out. All of you. Steve. Indiana Longnuts. All of you that hung out tonight. You're welcome, Steve. Hope we all learned something from this. Yeah, good night. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you on Friday night for the next build show. Enjoyed the long stream. PC looks great as usual. Awesome. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one on Friday. Have a good night, guys. And happy Wednesday. Now, Thursday.